Let's forget about the marketing. Let's forget about the numbers. Let's forget about all the stuff that doesn't matter, and let's focus on what's important in business. When we talk about quant, everybody's looking for growth. Where's the growth? Where's the numbers? Where's the information? Everybody's looking for all this stuff. And while it would be nice, yes, for me especially, because this is what I like to do, I like to make videos on this sort of thing, especially quant, it would be nice if there was more information given to us. However, something we have to accept is that quant is more of a B2C, or rather a B2B business. It's not a B2C business anymore. Where it might have seemed in the start, it was more to B2C. It was more aimed toward making that OS for DeFi. We're not there. We're at a B2B where quant has evolved into working for CBDC. So let's stop focusing on the marketing. Let's stop focusing on the numbers and looking for stuff. Let's focus on what really, really matters. So what matters? And I said something along these lines in my last video, but I'm going to remind you again and kind of elaborate on what it means more specifically in this context. So when you talk about business and growth and success, especially in terms of B2B, we're not looking for these numbers. We're not looking for the marketing. We're not looking for the fancy logos. We are looking for people. We are looking for active networking. So Gilbert Verdian, he is the founder of Quant, and he has been making moves quite regularly, if you guys have been keeping up with me, on all of his, he's been working towards making a big network, and all of his networkees are very powerful people. We have people, for example, like Sia. This is an older partnership that he had made. People like UST. And now, of course, we have UK Finance. And I want to kind of point out a pattern here and talk about this. So before I go on in this video, I want to let everybody know that I'm not a financial advisor. Take everything I say with a grain of salt. This is not financial advice. However, I will say Quant has been making amazing moves. And in our last video, we talked a lot about how Quant has been focusing more on working their network full of policy and regulators, policymakers and regulators. And the pattern continues. Now, I failed to mention this because I wanted to make a video more dedicated towards it. Now, we have Quant joins UK Finance. This was back in 2017, this year. Now, what is UK Finance and why does this matter? Why does this matter? So, when we look at SIA, we have Quant moving forward and finding this company that's willing to partner with them and utilize Overledger technology and help to integrate it to, obviously, within the scope of 500 plus banks. I think it was around 570 financial institutions with SIA. With UST, it's the same deal. They have many financial institutions. But SIA and UST are these tech companies. So what's the difference here between them and UK Finance, if any at all? And here's the pattern that I've realized, and that most people should have realized. SIA and UST are sort of tech-oriented companies. They're looking to they're middlemen to implement tech into various financial sectors. And so if a bank wants to implement blockchain onto into their systems, well, they would go to SIA and they'd be like, hey, how do I do this? I need a solution. SIA would be like, oh, we have this blockchain solution. Let's use that. And then they integrate it for them because they are in the know of that tech. Now, when it comes to something like UK Finance, this is different. This isn't quite the same. And this should be looked at differently, but along the same pattern. So UK Finance is a committee of people that is going to be making policies and regulations for the financial sector. They're not directly related to tech per se. Can they have policies or regulations that they want to make that are involved with tech? Sure. Now, before I go on, I want to make it very clear that UK Finance is not a government regulatory body. It doesn't actually carry any regulatory or legislative power per se, but it does have a lot of pull because it is involved in that space. It is the and this is kind of how it relates to our pattern here with SIA and UST. It actually has 300 plus banks, financial institutions under it. And so the cool thing about this is Quant isn't marketing to us. It's not marketing to the retail investors. It's not marketing to the consumer, because it is, like I said, B2B. And so when we have something like another partnership with UK Finance, they have another 300 plus potential clients that they just marketed to. You know, they have another 500 plus when they joined in with SIA. They have more when they joined in with UST. And this is them growing, guys. This is them growing. This is what you have to see. The growth isn't in the marketing. The growth is in your quarterly statements. You know, you can't always be looking at the numbers. You can't always be looking at the marketing. And here's why it's important. Let's, for example, and I love to speak in analogies because it makes everything very, very easy, or examples. If you were looking to invest in a gold mine and you were looking for those quarterly statements, right? You're on quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3. You want to see constant growth, right? Well, what about this? What if in quarter 1, they're doing good? Quarter 2, they realize there's a big patch of gold somewhere. But in order to get to it, they have to dig through a whole bunch of other random crap. Well, quarter 2 is going to look really terrible. But then when quarter 3 rolls around, now you hit that jackpot, right? And now all of a sudden the numbers go back up. So you can't be completely reliant on numbers. So what you really have to be looking for, and this is what I said in my last video, is your trust in the people. If you can trust in the founder, then you can trust in the project and that it will pay out in the end, right? As the investor, that is. If you're simply looking for the success of the company, it matters as well. So for this particular example, we trust Gilbert Verdian because he has worked in financial sectors and industries, and he's worked in other places such as, healthcare, which requires a lot of safety, security, trust, etc. And so this is all very important. So when we're looking for growth, guys, this is what we're looking for in a B2B structure. We're looking for these movements towards other businesses, and now we're seeing this crazy stepstone pattern where we're moving from banks in the financial sector that are related to tech middlemen like SIA and UST, and now we've taken it a step further, and now we're going into the actual financial sector with policymakers and regulators. Even though no legislative power, it has a very big pull because of its network. And from there, where do we go? From there, we go even higher. Now, UK Finance, obviously, is very well connected. They've been alive since 2017, I believe. And they are obviously within connection to people like the Treasury, the FCA, and the PRA, and have had a lot of success in the past. They have, to kind of give you an understanding, if you don't know who UK Finance is at all, they have those 300 plus financial institutions under them, which during Brexit, they have helped guide through that process, which is a complicated process. Now, if you don't know what Brexit is the recent happening that took place in the UK, where they separated from the EU. So the UK in 2020 wanted to split from the EU. Brexit went down, and now they're no longer part of the EU. And that took a lot of figuring stuff out. They had to figure a lot out. They had a lot of banks and institutions that were worried that they weren't going to be able to communicate or do business with people from the EU because they were doing this little bit of this separation. And they had to figure that out. And who better to figure that out than UK Finance? So UK Finance helped and assisted with that transition, and everything went more or less smoothly a little bit. So the point I'm trying to make here is UK Finance is a reputable person to join, and they're in constant communication with very high up government regulatory bodies. And that's very good news for Quant, because now Quant is going to be able to take that next step. That is what's the most important here, is Quant is taking B2B steps in marketing. They're marketing to these businesses. So if there's anything you take from this video, before we even get into this little article here, it's that. That's the most important thing. So let's go over this real quickly. And I'm going to wrap it up there. I just want to make a quick PSA for you guys who are saying that Quant hasn't seen any growth. This is the growth. This is what we look for. This is what we're seeing. There's not a ton of marketing done by their team because they're not worrying about B2C marketing. That's why you don't see a lot. I know this is a big question. It is infuriating for me as well, because I'm the one making videos on it, and so I need the information. However, it's written on the wall. You can see it. These are still, obviously, their marketing. These are pretty good, but they don't really elaborate. And I know it sucks, but I'm here. So if you guys want to keep up with Quant, follow my channel. I'll break this stuff down, and we'll get it done, right? Okay, so we are proud to announce we have joined the UK's preeminent financial services association and will be speaking at UK Finance's Digital Innovation Summit later this month. That already took place. Obviously, this is a little bit of an older article. However, I tried to get in on it, but I was way too busy and just caught up with life, and so I couldn't actually get to watch the summit. However, if you guys have a video of the summit, I would love for you guys to send it to me so I can watch it. I never got to see it. And for the life of me, I cannot find it anywhere. So if you guys find it, let me know. UK Finance is a collective voice for the banking and finance industry, representing more than 300 firms across the industry. It acts to enhance competitiveness, support customers, and facilitate innovation. Quant has joined as an associate member. So this is key. They are obviously not on the board by any means. They are simply an associate member. But this is still important because, like I said, it's that foot in the door. And it gives a lot of support to the fact that there is a strong sentiment towards Quant. It isn't just the consumers who are hopeful that Quant is useful. And it's not just Quant trying to convince us that it's useful. These bodies of regulators, policymakers, and people in the financial industry are looking at Quant, and they're able to associate with them in general. They're risking that and putting that to their name. Now, this is more or less obvious because we've already seen Gilbert's amazing resume and all the things he's already worked with and all the trust he already has. But to see that his product is on that level is really great to see, and that should get you excited. The Digital Innovation Summit is UK's finance flagship event. So we have some big names that came to this summit. These are people that were there. We have HSBC, Hong Kong, Shanghai. We also have, we had Citigroup that was actually on Gilbert's panel. So when they spoke, and this is why I really like to see it, because Citigroup was there, Bank of International Settlements, and the Bank of England, the members of Project Rosalind, which I want to get into. I'm going to be making a video updating everybody on that and everything I can find, because that's another super interesting aspect is Quant is actually working with the Bank of England and the BIS on the potential to implement CBDCs into the economic system. And so not only are they kind of foot in the door in this in UK finance, but they're actually already maybe a bit past that, right? They're a lot past that. And so there's a lot going on that isn't being seen, and people just aren't seeing it because they want those numbers. They want the marketing. They want the flashy colors. They want all this ridiculous stuff that has no value, no real value. It's all very superficial. So these are the kind of things we have to be looking for. I'm going to do a comprehensive breakdown on Project Rosalind for you guys. If you guys want to stay updated on that, I will be that guy for you. Quant will also have a presence on the exhibition floor, where the team of specialists will be sharing expertise in digital currencies, programmable money, and tokenized assets, as well as demonstrating Overledger Platform, the enterprise standard for building on blockchain. This is also very important because it is highlighting that it's not just Gilbert and Quant going and being like, oh, we know a thing or two. It's actually highlighting that Overledger is something that's very powerful and that can be utilized, right? And yeah, so that's basically all the information they give you here. They give you some links to other places, which give you not a lot of information at the end of the day. So I'd love it if you guys could send me that summit video if you find it. If you can find it anywhere, or if one of you happens to have it recorded, that would be swell. Now, guys, I hope this was informative. This is more of a PSA on, pardon me, a PSA on the growth of Quant and the real growth we should be looking for. And I hope it was very informative. I hope, if you guys know somebody who's been saying that Quant is slow, Quant's not doing anything, or Quant is done, send this to them, give them a basic idea, and I'm going to be making more videos. If you really want to convince that guy, I'll convince him. I will convince him. All right. This is huge. And there's going to be a lot more updates like this in the future. This is not that long ago, guys. This was in October. It's not even been 2 months. So, yeah, we have got a lot going on in the future. I am excited to have it with you guys. So I will see you in the next video. If you have any questions, put them down in the comments. I will answer.